what he leaves standing is as important as what he intentionally introduces. Matthew chapter 23 from verse 23. This is Jesus. I'm going to imitate his voice. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and peace. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. Blind guides who strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. Jesus is speaking in the New Testament, but he's addressing matters of the law. He's not addressing issues in the New Testament. He's addressing matters of the law. There are things in the law that are carrying over into the New Testament. What he knocks down doesn't carry over. What he doesn't knock down carries over. And I can show you several instances of that, but we're working with this. Pay attention to what Jesus is saying. He says, woe unto you Pharisees and scribes. And then he says, you are hypocrites. And then he's now telling them why they are hypocrites. He says they tithe, cumin, anise. It's almost like these guys buy pepper. And they can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they buy salt. And they can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Jesus says, you are so fastidious. You are so perfect in counting the pieces of these spices and tithing accordingly. Is that wrong? He says, that's not my problem with you. He says, but you have neglected the weightier matters. Because the reason why God gave this principle is to bring justice and faith and mercy. But you are not merciful, you are cruel, you are harsh, and you are tithing. So my problem with you is not the tithing. It's your lack of mercy, your lack of justice, your lack of faith. And he says, continue doing your stuff with the cumin and the anise, but add to it justice and mercy and faith. So he's knocking something down and leaving something untouched. He never condemned the tithing. Believe you me, if he needed to knock it down, he will knock it down. You know, Jesus was not shy. Jesus intentionally provokes trouble. Did you know that? Jesus just goes to the temple on the Sabbath and he knows the trouble. And then he sees a person who is sick and he says, get up, heals the person. And he knows everybody will be mad because he's knocking down something. And he tells them the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. He says, I need to knock it down. When he has to knock down something, he has no apologies. When he leaves something standing intentionally, he intends it to stand. Omission is as powerful as commission. Luke chapter 18, verse 9 to 14. Also he spoke this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee, he had problems with them, and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. I like how Jesus describes it. He prayed with himself. Not to God. He prayed with himself. Prays thus with himself. God, I thank you that I'm not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, even as this tax collector. Can you imagine somebody goes to a prayer meeting and he's praying and he's pointing to people, God, thank you, I'm not like this guy. I fast twice a week, I give tithes of all that I possess, and the tax collector standing afar off will not so much as raise his eyes to heaven, but beat his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. So Jesus is basically saying, if you're going to use your tithing as your mark of righteousness, I'm going to knock you down. You can't go around saying, you know, I'm the highest tither in the church. To go and check my tithe. As Pastor Gandhi, I tithe more than you all. Then you are like this Pharisee. So he's not saying don't tithe. He's dealing with attitudes. Heart attitude. These are the 2 comments Jesus made on tithing. He had opportunity to knock it down if it had to be knocked down. He didn't knock it down.